Welcome back, everybody. The so-called stay-at-home stocks have spiked recently. In fact, the NASDAQ 100 is just 4% off of its all-time high. All of this happened since people started sheltering in place because of the coronavirus pandemic. For more on what consumer trends may be here to stay, let's welcome best-selling author Ben Mezrich. He has a novella that's out. It's just being published as a daily series for the Boston Globe in the paper and online. And Ben, we want to thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
You know, you have been behind so many of the trends that we've watched, everything from Facebook, kind of watching that take off, Bitcoin, watching that pick up. You've got your finger on the pulse for how people live, how people work, and how some of those changes kind of take place. Obviously, this is new for all of us, but what do you see happening as we continue to shelter at home?
Yeah, I mean, what we're seeing is that people are all starting to live like hermits, like I always have. I think that streamers are enormous. I mean, we're spending all of our time watching as much as we can. We're consuming, like we don't want to go outside anymore. So things like streamers are going crazy. Online is going crazy. I've been writing this story in the Boston Globe. So I'm basically writing a book that's published in chapters every day in the Boston Globe, and tons of people are reading it, which I want to believe is because I'm such a great writer, but is also because people are stuck at home and finding new ways to consume stories. So I think this is the dawning of all of these streamers that were exploding right before this. Now they're going to take over.
You know, Ben, I wonder, obviously, what you're writing is getting huge pickup, and people do appreciate having this and having a new way to do it because all of our lives have changed. But I don't think that the new routine that I have is necessarily one that's going to be here for forever. Maybe this lasts 3 months, maybe it lasts 6, maybe it even lasts 12 to 18, if you believe what some epidemiologists have said. But I do feel like eventually we get back to a more normal. I appreciate the slower pace of life, but I don't know if I can completely control that once regular life resumes.
Yeah. I mean, the question is when things get back to normal or a little more normal, are you going to go to a movie theater? Are you going to, have 10 people over your living room to watch something? Or are you going to be more likely to watch something and communicate through your phone or communicate through your computer or something like that? I do think, there's this urge and this want to go back out and see people. But at the same time, some of the things like watching whatever you want, when you want, over and over again is going to stay with us. I really think that the streamers are going to become more and more part of our lives. The question is, how are they going to maintain if we're stuck like this for longer than a few more months? Because they got to start producing more content, and it's very, very hard for them to do. But I think certain things are going to stay. And I do think more and more we're going to, like my kids watch a movie with all of their friends, and they're loving it. The idea that they can do this from their home and text with each other on the computer screen while they're doing it with one of these watch parties, this is not going to go away. These watch parties are going to become part of their lives.
What does that mean for the big media conglomerates, the big companies that have so much money invested in the way things work?
I mean, I think there's going to be a mix, but I do think that they're going to have to start figuring out ways to produce more and more content for these streamers. I think the streamers are going to be in a massive battle for eyeballs, and they're only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, it's the same thing like, you're ordering everything from Amazon, you're ordering everything from, wherever you can at home. You're going to want to be able to order everything you want to watch. When that movie, was it Sonic or whatever it was, came on TV, every single kid watched it. And I think that this is going to be a battle between movie theaters going forward and streaming at home. That's gonna go in the favor of the streamers, I think.
I see your book, Bitcoin Billionaires, behind you. Have you spoken with the Winklevi twins, the Winklevoss twins?
I love the Winklevi twins.
Everything kind of came into the pandemic?
Yeah, so we've just had the big halving, right? So the Bitcoin halving was a big moment in Bitcoin history. I speak to the Winklevi all the time. Those guys are amazing people. I think they're doing well with it, and Bitcoin, skyrocketed, and so they're doing better and better, I think.
You think they've doubled down and they're still everything in Bitcoin?
They're big believers in where Bitcoin can go, and I think Bitcoin makes a lot of sense in a time like this. because we don't really know what's going to go on with the economy outside. But we do know that Bitcoin has just become a little more scarce. So you would think going forward that Bitcoin would go up from here. They're big believers in it as part of our future and a big part of our financial system. So they're long, they're hodlers, they're those guys. Yeah.
Well, Ben, I want to thank you for being with us this morning and for riding the mechanic, keeping people entertained through all of this and continuing to roll with this. It's good to see you.
Thank you. I hope people keep reading.